Hey guys, it's Krystal from Novocaine Beauty and welcome back to my channel.
Closer, closer, closer. A little closer, closer from the last one.
So I wanted to film a different type of video today. I really wanted to continue to put out content around lashing because lash training has obviously been something that I've been focusing on in the last couple months. And now that things are kind of looking like they might open up soon, I figure it's a good time to put out more lash content. So today's video is all about things that I do to prepare for my clients to enhance the customer experience whenever they come to you. And I feel like this video, and I do want to note, isn't really catered just to only lash techs. I feel like any business person can take a lot of the things that I'm gonna tell you guys about in this video and apply it to multiple businesses. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So one of the main things, sorry guys, I made a lot of notes. So if I'm looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. But one of the main things that I want to talk about, and I know this is gonna be like, duh, but a lot of people don't realize this, is it's very important that when people enter your space, or I shouldn't say people, when clients enter your space, it feels neat and tidy. Especially in the service industry, when you're applying extensions, nails, you're doing any aesthetics, anything like that. I feel like it's a very good impression when someone walks into a space and it looks neat, tidy, and organized. So my lash room also is my film studio, which is also my office. So things can pile up a lot and get a little bit crazy on my desk. So what I typically like to do before a client gets here is always make sure that I tidy everything up, put things back where they need to be, or just hide everything in the closet, whichever works for you. So that's what I like to do, but it's really important that you make sure that your space is clean, tidy, which in turn will make it much more inviting. And number 2, have a nice selection of music. I am so proud of the playlist that I have in the studio. It has over 300 songs on it, and this is a playlist that I've curated and kind of managed for the past 2 years. I take a lot of pride in it. When a song gets old, I swap it out and add a new one. For those who are interested in my playlist, because I do get a lot of compliments from y'all, it's linked in my story highlights on Instagram. So feel free to follow, hit that like on Spotify, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, have a good selection of music. And I feel like I like to, like when I do add songs to my playlist, I'll have a section of just R&B because it's obviously one big playlist. And then it might segue into 90s and I'll keep it in the 90s vibes for like 10 to 15 songs. Then we might switch it up and go, I don't go as far back as the 80s. Maybe I have a few 80s songs, but just make it like a nice, smooth transition. You don't want to go from DMX, What You Really Want, to Anita Baker. Like, I mean, I don't even have DMX on my playlist, but you guys understand that contrast is a little wild. So really think about it so that like while your clients are here, it's a vibe. You want to make sure that they're like, oh, this song, I haven't heard it in so long. Okay, that's done. And then it's like, oh, shit, I forgot about this song. So just make it a vibe for your client, especially for anyone who's gonna be providing a service that takes an extended amount of time, like hair extensions or lash extensions, nails, things like that. Oh, and I do wanna know one thing. One thing that I tend to do, because obviously sometimes when I meet new people, I don't really know what their vibe might be, but I read body language really well. So say for example, I had a client laying on my bed and I'm doing her lashes, and as I'm getting to know her, I'm realizing that, okay, like we probably have different tastes in music. If a certain song comes on that I know it's gonna be a little bit more on the vulgar side, like, you know, maybe they're talking about some adult stuff, just hit that skip button. Don't sit there and have that uncomfortable moment with your client for 3 minutes. Just hit skip. On to the next, okay? 3, because I do have clients laying on my lash bed, I always make sure that I fluff the pillows that they're gonna be laying on. I also have a lower back pillow, so I make sure I fluff that so that when they come, they just have to lay down and get comfortable. I guess this is something that I more started to do when I was doing back-to-back clients. I guess that was over a year ago now, thanks COVID. But I haven't been doing back-to-back clients lately, to be brutally honest. I'm very okay with having like 1 or 2 clients a day, just because your girl gets carpal tunnel sometimes, guys. And I do a lot of typing throughout the day, and I find that I just don't want to overwork myself. So in between clients, you want to make sure you fluff your pillows, change your sheets, and really make sure that everything just looks neat and tidy for whoever's coming in next. And even if you don't have a client coming in after, it's a good practice to do that after every client, so that when you go to set up before each client, you're pretty much already 50% done. You know what I'm saying? I use an app called Jupiter. I started using it about 6 months ago, and it really helps. It's kind of like any of those, I guess, apps that you can kind of manage your clients and send out confirmations, etc. And I personally like Jupiter. It's been working well for me, but I know some other people use like Acuity Scheduling. I think that's what it's called. And there's a few others out there. But one thing I do pride myself on is taking really good notes on every client's profile. So if I know that a client has a son, or she mentioned her birthday, or something like that, that would be good for me to know in terms of just going back in and saying, oh my God, it's so-and-so's birthday, let me wish her happy birthday. Make use of that note section and be mindful to keep those mental notes, to put it in there, because those are things that make people come back to you. Just the fact that, like, how does she remember my birthday? Like, what? Or how does she remember my son's name was Liam? All those little things are what enhances the customer experience. So one thing I did want to note with that is you also want to use that tool as a way to make notes about your appointment. So if I know that this client, maybe the first time we did her lashes, I put 16 mm's on her lashes. And then the second time she's like, oh, I loved my lashes, but can you just do them a little shorter? So we decided, let's do 15, or we went down to 14. I like to make those type of notes so that if a client comes back and says, yeah, remember the first time you did my lashes? That length, that's the length I want now. It just makes it really easy to track, because clients assume that we keep all of this up here, or like there's only like 3 lengths or something like that. You only want to use that tool to help you keep track of your clients and what they like and what they don't like. In addition to that, when you're preparing for a reoccurring client to come, now you have all these notes. You know that she likes to get hybrid, so we're doing a hybrid refill. You know that with her hybrid refill, she likes her longest length to be 16, so you know to pull out 16. You know her shortest length is 12, you pull out 12. So it makes things so much easier when you're prepping for a new client, because you just get to pull out the lashes that you need. Then you can set up your station in terms of, you know, your gel pads, you can get your tweezers out, the lash shampoo, etc. So one of the main things I always say is always prepare for your new client. When you have a new client coming in, obviously you don't have that, you're not able to do that yet, because you kind of have to have that face-to-face consultation to figure out what it is that they want. But moving forward, that is something that you could prepare for and literally save you 5 to 7 minutes within every appointment, because as soon as your client comes in, they get on the bed, you have all your tools there ready to go, and you can just start lashing away. So this can also translate to any other business. If you know that this client likes a certain haircut, or she wants a certain shampoo that you have, or conditioner, pull all of that stuff out ahead of time. And this is also how you catch in terms of if you're low on certain stock. Oh wow, okay, so I went to grab a gel pad, I have 3 left. Now I know right after this appointment, or if I have time before, to order gel pads. So you always want to prepare before your client comes. The worst is when I go to get my nails done, or my hair done, or my lashes done, and when I get there, the girl is still setting up for me, like almost like I intruded on her time. Like, miss, that's not what we gonna do, because the girl, I gotta go, got places to be, you know what I'm saying? Okay, where we at? What number we at? Oh, okay, so remember how in the beginning of this video I spoke about how you want to keep your place tidy and neat and welcoming and inviting and yada yada yada. You also want to make sure that the space that you're lashing in, or you also want to make sure that the space that you're working out of, in my case lashing, is on brand with my Instagram and everything else I promote. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. And I don't mean to tell this story to shade anybody, I'm just speaking facts. This would have been about 2 years ago. I went to get my lashes done. It was a new lash tech. And I've been looking at her Instagram for, I would say, at least a month and a half. Just really, you know, not creeping her stuff, but like, I want to see consistency. I want to see that you're good all the time and you don't just have a good photo that you posted. And I was ready to go, went to get my appointment done. And like I said, this is not to shade anybody. This is just me being real. I went to her place and she was lashing out of her basement, which is fine. Like, you know, it's not a big deal. I lash out of my studio at home, so I totally understand. But when I walked in, I had to step over, like going down the steps, I had to step over so many boxes on her stairs. Like literally, she's like, oh, watch your step, be careful, girl. I meant to move those. So for one, that's a hazard. Like if I like fell and broke my neck in your house, like what the hell? And then, and that's actually not funny. And then when you get down, like the basement, all basements are cold and sometimes dark and dingy. But this was like a basement where they kept storage. This wasn't like what I saw on Instagram. And of course she had a little corner that was set up for her, for lashing or whatever the case may be. But I just remember feeling very uncomfortable in the space because it didn't give me, for what I was gonna pay her, I didn't feel like I was getting the same quality in terms of products that she was using. The lash bed was a little shaky when I got on it. Like that experience is what made me say, you know, when I get to the point where I have a lot of clients, I'm gonna make sure that I'm using premium stuff, because I remember what I was thinking in that moment. And don't get me wrong, her work was good. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, because obviously based on your Instagram, I've already set the expectation super high, not knowing that like your lash space isn't on brand to what you're promoting. For me, my Instagram is branded in a way that I want people to come into my space and be like, oh my God, it looks so cool in here. Your lash studio is so cute, or your office is so cute. I don't want people to come in and feel like I just threw them in a corner, put up this bed, and we're just gonna get this out of the way. I wanna feel like you really care about me, you care about the business that I'm bringing to you, and yada, yada, yada. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just like, there's nothing more to it, but these are just things that I want you all to take in mind or take into consideration. These are all tips and tricks that are included in my lash training. And of course, I'll give you a little extra stuff on top if you book with me to get trained. I do have some new Novocaine Beauty products coming in. I'm super, super excited. I spent 2 or 3 months testing out some duds that I didn't like, and then I finally found some stuff that I really liked. So I can't wait to launch those in the coming weeks. I know I mentioned in my last video that I'm moving, so I'm gonna need you guys to bear with me the next couple weeks while I kind of get my life together. Like, it's so crazy because I have about 7 days yet? No, about 10 days before I'm officially out of my current space. And today I started to pack, because obviously before that, I'm like, I don't really have that much stuff. And as I'm going through stuff, I'm like, you know what? Your girl has a lot of shit. So I gotta go through a lot of my clothes, try things on. If they don't fit anymore, I'm letting them go. So bear with me the next couple weeks if you guys see that I'm just not really doing makeup videos or anything like that, because your girl ain't got the time to edit those ones. But I do think this is a good time for me to put out lash content, because like I said, here in Toronto, things are about to be open so I can start to train again. I am so happy. It's been a long winter. Wait, today's the 1st of spring. Oh my God, happy spring, guys. So this video is all about how to prepare for your clients and how to enhance the customer experience. So I hope you guys liked it. If you haven't already, I'm gonna need you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you're always aware when I post new videos and content. And until next time, guys, mwah.